A little honest talk, guys, the gun world's flooded with hype. One week, it's all about some flashy new launch. Next week, it's about Glock killer this and best value that. But when you cut through all that noise, there's one 9mm handgun everybody's actually buying right now. Not wishlist stuff, not internet flex. I'm talking about what real people are walking out of the store with today, right now in 2025. And here's the thing, it's not just one pistol, there's a pattern. And the buyers, they're not messing around. From veteran shooters to first-time buyers, this list is built on real trends, sales data, and what folks are actually trusting their lives with. You'll probably guess a few, but I guarantee there's one or two in here that'll make you stop and rethink your next buy. Let's get into the list now. On National Day this year, I was out at the range for a practice session when I met an Indian guy running drills. He wasn't new. You could tell by how he handled his mags, but he wasn't bragging either. We got to talking, and I asked what he carried. Without hesitation, he pointed at his P365X macro. He told me, "Brother, back home, I never had the chance to own something like this. Here, I'm not missing my shot. I bought two, one to run, one to keep." That right there is the story of 2025. The P365X Macro isn't just a carry gun, it's the compact that gave people full-size capacity without the bulk, optics ready from the start, with recoil so tame it feels like cheating, and because it already dominates, the panic isn't about is it good, it's about how long will it last before the rules or shortages hit. Shops across Texas have watched them vanish as fast as they arrived. Some buyers are picking up second or even third pistols, not because they need them, but because they don't trust 2026. This is the 9mm that defined 2025. Miss it now, and you'll spend next year wishing you hadn't. Election years always rattle the gun market, and 2025 has been no different. ADF whispers, state-level bans, even talk of tariffs, all of it has buyers acting like tomorrow's prices could double. And right in the middle of that storm sits a pistol that's suddenly become the buy now or regretted gun of the year. It isn't just about performance, though this model already turned heads with its modular frame system and optics setup done right. What's really driving the panic is money. Local news out of Houston ran a piece on potential Trump tariffs if he swings back into the White House. The article was about steel and imports, never even named handguns, but buyers didn't need it spelled out. They read between the lines and started treating this pistol like gold. Scroll through forums today and you'll find the same mindset. Grab it now before 2026 hits. Nobody wants to gamble on inflation, tariffs, and politics all colliding at once. The name? Springfield Echelon. It already shook the market on release, and now it's being treated like the last affordable chance before prices climb. And folks aren't waiting to see how high. Every Texan's got that one old pickup sitting in the yard. Paint's faded, AC's busted, but it cranks every morning and hauls what you need. That's the Glock 19 Gen 5 MOS in 2025. Now here's the head scratcher. Everybody knows Gen 6 is creeping in. Patents filled, rumors floating, even gun counters in Fort Worth are whispering about redesigned frames and a new tighter group. So why in the hell are folks still cleaning out Gen 5 MOS shipments like it's brisket on a Sunday? Truth is, Texans don't trust promises, they trust what's proven. The Gen 5 MOS may be boring, but boring is exactly why it still rides in so many holsters. No finger grooves, eats any ammo you feed it, and with that optic cut, it's kept pace with the new red dot craze. I talked to a guy out in Midland who bought his third Gen 5 this summer. When I asked why not for Gen 6, he just grinned, "Son, I don't bet on horses that ain't left the barn yet." That's the mentality fueling sales right now. Gen 6 may be coming, but in Texas, folks are still stacking the Glock 19 Gen 5 MOS like it's the safe bet. Every few weeks, another article pops up in local Texas papers about rising gun prices or supply tightening. Most folks scroll past it, but dig a little deeper and you'll see the same pistol mentioned again and again, the Heckler Koch VP9. The rumor mill says HK is preparing for price hikes going into 2026. Some claim the European contracts are eating into U.S. supply. Others whisper the VP9 might end up on the wrong side of future ADF import rulings. None of it's confirmed, but it doesn't have to be. Buyers don't wait for official news, they react to the smoke before the fire. That's why stores in Texas and San Antonio have been watching VP9s move faster than expected. Not one at a time, but often in pairs. Guys tell the counter staff the same thing. If prices jump, I want mine already in the safe. And to be fair, it isn't just panic. The VP9 has one of the best striker-fired triggers on the market, excellent ergonomics, and a reputation for lasting thousands of rounds. When you mix performance with rumor, you get a pistol that disappears overnight. That's the VP9 in 2025. Buy on site or pay more later. And we're not done. Number 2 is tangled up in tariff talk and politics. Buyers are treating it like it won't even exist the next year. Some pistols sell because people trust they'll be around forever. The Kimber R7 Mako sells because nobody's sure it will be. That uncertainty is exactly what's driving buyers in 2025. Think about it. Kimber is a 1911 brand. When they dropped a polymer micro compact, everyone said it wouldn't last. Even now, the forums are full of speculation. Will Kimber stick with it or cut the line short? Nobody knows, and that's why shelves are emptying. Folks would rather own one before 2026 than kick themselves later. The R7 Mako isn't hype, it's actually good. Optics ready from the factory, flat shooting for its size, and a trigger that surprises even die-hard SIG and Glock fans. A shop in Houston told me half the buyers come in skeptical, then put money down after handling the trigger once. I ran one against a Hellcat Pro and a P365, and it held its own the whole way. It doesn't feel like Kimber's first try, it feels like they've been planning this move for years. If Kimber keeps building it, demand stays strong. If they don't, the R7 Mako becomes the mischance pistol of 2025. Either way, waiting isn't an option. When lawmakers talk about too much gun for the street, this is the kind of pistol they mean. Compact frame, easy to hide, but stuffed with 15+1 rounds in the mag. The Springfield Hellcat Pro doesn't just sell, it makes politicians nervous, and that's exactly how buyers in 2025 aren't waiting around. Every conversation I've had with shooters this year comes back to the same fear. What if they ban high-capacity compacts in 2026? That's not paranoia. Some states are already floating it. The result? Shelves clearing faster than Springfield can ship them. The funny part is, a couple of years ago, most folks laughed at the Hellcat name. The original felt like shooting a bottle cap, sharp recoil, tiny grip. But the Pro fixed what mattered. More control, better balance, more ammo. I shot one side by side with a P365 and walked away thinking, yep, this is why people are doubling up. So if you're still on the fence, that's the danger. People who hesitated on P365s a few years back remember what it felt like when prices spiked. The Hellcat Pro is giving them deja vu, and they're buying it before history repeats itself. If Taurus sold this exact pistol, the internet would roast it to death. Heavy for its size, trigger like damp cardboard, overpriced for what you're getting. It's got all the flaws we laugh at in budget guns. But because it's Glock, people treat the 43X MOS like it's untouchable. That double standard has always bugged me. And yet, I can't deny what's happening in 2025. Whether it's pawn shops in West Texas, big box counters in Ohio, or mom and pop stores in Florida, the story is the same. The 43X MOS barely hits the shelf before someone walks out with it. It's not because it's groundbreaking, it's because it's reliable. Optics ready slide, slim enough to carry daily, and backed by Glock's reputation. Buyers see it as the safe bet when uncertainty is hanging over 2026. Some are buying their first, others are buying a second just in case. So yeah, call it overrated, call it the G3C with a better logo, but don't ignore what the buying patterns say. When folks are worried about bans, shortages, or the next wave of ADF rules, the pistol they're grabbing isn't the fancy new release, it's this one. The original Beretta APX was easy to ignore. Strange serrations, clunky feel, looked more like an experiment than a serious pistol, and that's why most shooters passed on it. But in 2025, the A1 Carry flipped that script. Cleaner design, a trigger that finally makes sense, and a proper optics cut turned it into a pistol people actually want. Scroll through any carry gun forum this year, and you'll see the same comments popping up. Didn't expect much? Now it's my EDC. That kind of talk spreads fast. Part of the rush comes from timing. Buyers aren't just looking at performance, they're looking at politics. With the ADF circling micro compacts for new restrictions and election year rumors flying around, nobody wants to wait and see. The A1 Carry hit the sweet spot. Small enough to carry, strong enough to trust, and cheap enough that folks are buying two at a time just in case. Even longtime Glock and SIG owners have admitted they grabbed one as a backup after running it at the range. That's how this pistol went from a punchline to a panic buy. And if you think this was the last surprise of 2025, number 6 is the one that has people stockpiling before shelves even get cold. Most of the 9mm flying off shelves this year are the small ones, easy to carry, easy to sell, but built more for convenience than confidence. Still, there's a crowd that walks right past those cases and asks for something heavier, something tougher, something that feels like it was made for work instead of comfort. That's the split I kept seeing at training sessions in 2025. Young shooters running the tiny guns, older hands bringing out pistols that carried real weight. They weren't chasing trends, they were chasing trust. Scroll through online forums and the pattern's the same. This pistol isn't being a range toy, it's being called the one-gun choice, the sidearm you'd bet on when you don't want questions about reliability. The name? Effen's 509 Midsize Tactical. Serious shooters are stacking them now because they know this isn't the pistol that sits pretty in a safe. It's the one you run hard and it still shows up ready the next day. Most compacts feel like convenience. This one feels like commitment, and that's why it isn't staying on shelves for long. There's a compact 9mm this year that nobody brags about, yet it keeps vanishing while the louder names hog the spotlight. Glock, SIG, Springfield. Those are the names people mention first, but under the radar, another pistol keeps slipping out of shops one range trip at a time. It isn't new, it isn't plastered all over ads, but what's driving the surge is word of mouth. You shoot it once, feel how steady it runs, notice the trigger breaking cleaner than you expected, and suddenly you're looking for one of your own. I've seen guys in training swap into it mint class after trying a buddy's, walking away shaking their heads for not buying it sooner. Compared to Ruger's RXM, which grabs first-timers with price, this pistol feels more like a long-term bet. It's the graduation gun for shooters who've been around long enough to know what matters. The name? CZ's P10C. Not trending, not hyped, but steadily selling in 2025. Ignore it if you want, but that's exactly how people miss what's really moving right now. The smoothest trigger you'll ever touch, or the compact you'll never trust. That's the Walther PDP Compact in 2025. Few pistol split shooters this fast. Some call it the best compact they've ever fired, Others swear it's too sharp, too risky, too much gun to carry, and while the arguments keep flying, the PDP Compact just keeps moving. It doesn't slip into the market quietly, it challenges you the moment you rack it. The trigger breaks cleaner than most so-called match guns, the grip locks into your palm like it belongs there, and the slide tracks flat enough to surprise even experienced shooters. The first time I ran one, I stopped mid-mag just to shake my head. Online forums tell the same story. Guys who once swore they'd never trust a Walther are now posting target groups and calling it their everyday carry. At training classes, I've seen shooters hand it around and then refuse to give it back. So while some folks are still debating whether it's too much for carry, others are locking them down before 2025 closes. Because love it or hate it, the PDP Compact has its believers and they're not hesitating. And if you think that divides shooters, wait until you see what's coming at number 9. The pistol people are calling the only serious buy of 2025. The Taurus name still makes a lot of shooters flinch. Too many bad runs, too many jam stories. And let's be honest, I've said it myself before. The G3C just wasn't reliable. I told you that, remember? So here's the question. Why is everyone suddenly buying another Taurus? Because this one is different. The GX4 T.O.R.O slid into 2025 with almost no hype, but something changed this year. Online forums that usually trash Taurus started lining up with range reports, clean cycles, solid accuracy, and no surprises after hundreds of rounds. Even on YouTube reviews, guys who swore off Taurus admitted they were carrying this one daily. Part of the rush comes from timing. It's optics ready right out of the box, it carries light, and it's running cleaner than anyone ever expected. At under $400, this is the kind of pistol people grab just in case before ADF rules, state bans, or 2026 price spikes make it harder to get. So here's the FOMO. The same brand we wrote off is the one filling holsters right now. If you're still stuck on G3C nightmares, fine. But the crowd that gambled on the GX4 isn't looking back. Ask around right now and you'll hear the same thing. The Max 9 keeps disappearing. Not because it's new, not because it's plastered all over ads, but because buyers don't trust what's coming in 2026. For years, the Ruger Max 9 sat ignored in glass cases. But this year, the talk started spreading. Whispers of production slowing down, rumors that ADF might clamp down on micro-compacts, and election season nerves putting pressure on the shelves. That's when people began treating the Max 9 less like a carry gun and more like a last chance buy. Scroll through the forums and you'll see it. Guys posting that they grabbed 2 at a time just in case. At the range, I've seen new shooters surprised it circles everything they feed it. No stoppages, no drama. For under $400, that level of trust is what keeps it moving. This isn't the pistol you brag about, it's the one you lock down quietly, because when the shelves go empty, you'll either have it or you'll be the one wishing you had moved faster. You didn't think I was going to end this list without throwing in one of the most bought budget 9mm pistols of the last few years, the Taurus G3C now, did you? I know some of you'll love to hate on Taurus, but let's cut the attitude for a second. This gun sells like hotcakes. Why? Because for under $300, you're getting a compact 9mm with a solid trigger, solid capacity, and surprisingly decent reliability, especially in the newer batches. It's not flashy, not tactical, and it damn sure isn't winning any beauty pageants, that's for sure. But guess what? People are still walking into gun shops and grabbing this thing right now, 2025 and all. Sure, it's not perfect. The finish can wear. The Mac release is a little stiff. But in real life, for everyday folks who want something that works, doesn't break the bank, and feels good in the hand, the G3C checks a lot of boxes. And I'll be straight with you, if I had just $250 in my pocket and needed something that could ride in my truck, take some abuse, and still go bang, yep, the G3C would make that list. That's why it's still moving units in 2025, no matter what the internet says. So if you're wondering why these guns are flying off shelves, now you know. It's not about specs on paper or what some forum says. These are the 9mm handguns real folks are buying, carrying, and trusting every single day. If one of these is already on your hip, you're already ahead of the curve. But if not, well, now's your shot before prices go up or shelves dry out. And hey, which one would you pick up right now if money wasn't the issue? Drop it in the comments. This has been your boy Steve, and this is Guns and Roses. Catch you in the next one. Do stay sharp.